Create the process and make more money. Everything that's going on in your business, there needs to be a process. That's the only way you're gonna grow and make money. Today, we're doing our removal SOPs. Check it out. If you like this content, make sure to like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Something we do every day, removals. Let's create SOPs for this so that way we can train better for the future, and everybody that gets implemented into the system will know exactly what to do in every scenario possible. Let's talk about this, all right? So when we're creating this SOP, we have to think of all the situations, all right? Let's start with this. What are we taking, okay? So when we prep for this in the morning, we go through our morning meeting. That's just a very brief overview of everything, okay? You pull up to the job, you need to know exactly what you're doing, so that way do I need tools and equipment? You need to understand what it is you're doing, all right? Assess the load for the new furniture. Before you just go in and make contact with the customer, do some stuff, all right? Go in, open it up, rearrange some things, make it look good, so that way for the next stuff, you have the room necessary for each job, okay? Repack the load. Do you need blankets? Do you need straps? These are all things to think about with each step of the process, okay? Walkthrough, before and after. You introduce yourself, you address the customer by the name, and then you do your intros and customer service, but you need to see everything before you start taking it, all right? You start with the big and you work your way down. Okay, you want to see all of the items, and then you have to strategize the removal and load, okay? If you've ever played Tetris, you can't just willy-nilly just start throwing things places. You have to do it in a sequence to make it to where you're optimizing and you're creating the most amount of space. Do I need to take anything apart? These are all things to think about in the walkthrough stage, okay? The screws and hardware, do you have bags for them to keep them all organized? Tape them onto the piece, make sure that it stays with it. You can't just throw it into a tool bag, it gets lost. How and where will it be taken out of, okay? Did it come in a window? Which door is it that it needs to go through? Is it closest to the garage door, but you need to go through the front door? The garage door is always a little bit smaller, okay? And then your closing statements, okay? So taking payment, verification of pricing, getting tips, reviews. Those are the main things that you have to think about in the process of the removal itself. Now, all the other things, what ifs, contingencies, and having everything prepared, okay? So we're gonna go into from here to the what ifs, all right? Are there pictures on the walls? Do you need to take those down? Who's doing it? Are you doing it? Is the customer doing it? All right, most likely you need to be having the customer do it. You can help through the process to make it faster, but have them do it. It is their stuff, but you're not gonna probably have to put it back up. That's gonna be on them. You're just there to get stuff out. Door frames, do they need to be taken off? Do you unscrew it from the frame itself? Do you take out the little pins? There's two different processes of doing that. Do you need to do that? What do you do if you damage the house? Notify the customer. First thing, hey, customer, this happened. You have to point it out immediately, let them know what's going on. Notify dispatch, me. You take some pictures, add it into the service, so that way it's clear on when it happened, what happened. And then dispatch will contact customer for the next steps. The guys on the job, it is not their responsibility to have all the information for the customer. You direct to us, to me, dispatch. We will take care of it from there, so that way we can take care of any kind of repair needs, setting up any kind of things that need to be done, and making sure the customer feels that it's going to be taken care of. Someone gets hurt. What happens if you get hurt, okay? There's a lot of different things here, okay? The employee, all right? So if your back gets hurt, you get crushed by a sofa, something falls in your foot, something happens to where you are injured now, okay? Or just hurt. There's two differences with that, okay? You wanna always notify dispatch that something happened, because if you need to be replaced, we need to set that into motion, okay? It's all a case-by-case situation. Do you need the hospital? Can you finish the jobs? Like that is something that you need to understand as a person, and you need to talk to your team about that, okay? Possible replacement. Do I need to send someone out to replace you? Because that, if you're hurt, you're hurt. We got to make sure to get you off and keep the jobs going. Did the customer get hurt? Were they holding a door and something fell on them? Was something happen to where like the unlikelihood of the customer did get hurt, okay? Obviously, let the dispatch know, okay? Do we need to call 911, call the hospital? We need to figure that part out. Hopefully that never happens, but you're ready for it just in case, okay? All right, appliances. Are they hooked up to water? We do not unhook anything from water, okay? So we cannot take it, and the customer is responsible for unhooking everything. We cannot do that. We're not liable for any flooding. We're not liable for, the water is supposed to be off, but it's not off, and so forth. We can't take on any of that stuff. No water hookups, no hooking up, no unhooking, zero. Let's move on to contingencies. What if it doesn't fit? All right, so what does that mean? How did it get it in there in the first place? Does it need to be taken apart or destroyed, okay? If it's a desk, then you take the top off. Did the customer warn you that it took a long time to get in the first place? Do I need to destroy it to get it out? It's a very uncommon thing, but it happens. Did you build a basement around this sofa? Was it already down there when you built out this basement? So there's a lot of questions that you need to ask yourself in that. Did it come in through a window? How did you make that happen? What if it's more than expected? Okay, so what if they called about this stuff and then they're adding in this stuff? All right, so we contact dispatch to verify everything. So can we take it all? What is the extra price? Is it our mistake? We take and learn, okay? So is it written in there, but it's more than we expected? Like it's not notified that it's a 4-piece entertainment center? Is that our problem or is it the customer's, okay? And it's our mistake. We need to eat that, take it, go, learn from it, right? Is it the customer taking advantage? Okay, are they trying to add in a piece that's not on the list, okay? Is the customer just adding more items? Are they just saying, hey, you guys are here, I have this, and this, can you take that also, okay? So there's different levels to this. Not every customer is trying to take advantage of you. They're just trying to get what they can out of it, right? But if they are taking advantage, or even if they are just adding things, we need to adjust the price accordingly, and then we can continue on through. Now, what if we can't contact the customer? There's no one home, or there's a little kid there, all right? And when I say little kid, I think it's appropriate that if it's below 15, we can't deliver, okay? We need to make sure that there's an adult present. We're not liable for watching anybody's kids or doing it and handling it like that. We need to be talking to an adult, okay? So we contact dispatch. We call and text the customer. We gotta notify. We're there. Hey, we're not seeing anything. It looks empty. We can only stay for so much longer. We wait no longer than 15 minutes. Now, 15 minutes is the longest. We're not gonna wait fully 15 minutes. If the situation presents itself, that's as long as we'll wait. So you could get there, there's no one there, zero contact, and you've been making contact the entire time, and we can leave within 5 minutes, okay? If we're not there to just sit around and wait. We gotta make sure that if we have to leave, we have to leave, okay? And then we notify the customer that we can reschedule for a later date, maybe even later that day if it's possible, okay? All right, so we've gotten through the what ifs and the contingencies. So next is stacking and packing, okay? So we're gonna load large items first. We're gonna marry and condense. And if you don't know what that means, is that things aren't all the same shapes. How do you take the awkward shapes and you put them together to where it creates a nice little married Tetris pieces? You wanna put it together and make it to where it's nice and clean, okay? Use blankets if things are touching. So if wood on wood, put some blankets in between. If there's glass, wrap it. Making sure that we're protecting our load no matter what, okay? Straps, do we need straps? Is it a sleeper sofa? Is it that we're just strapping from side to side? We gotta make sure that nothing's falling while we're driving. Standing items up. All right, not everything needs to be just laid in there. And we want to make sure to strategize, again, giant Tetris board, stack and pack the best you possibly can. Lastly, equipment and payment, okay? So equipment we always have blankets. We have to protect hardwood floors. We have to protect the tile floors. If there's something that's heavy going on there and being dragged, we don't want to break anything or scratch anything. Protect the windowsills and sliding glass door frames. Okay, so we've had plenty of operations where we've taken something out of a window, or if we've taken it out of a sliding glass door. Do you put a blanket on the plastic so that way it doesn't break anything? You got to make sure to think about that kind of stuff. Otherwise, you broke a window, now it won't close, or you broke a sliding glass door and now it's damaged. Okay, we got to think about that kind of stuff. It's not the fact that it broke. It's just, what did you do to prevent it from breaking? If it still broke with the blanket, you took all the precautions you could. It just is what it is, and you can work that out with the homeowner, but you took the precautions. All right, packing in the truck, okay? So we gotta make sure that goes along with the stacking and packing there. Glass, separate panels, the stacking and packing, wrapping and such, all right? Saran wrap and tape. Making sure that we have that on there. So all the doors and drawers, make sure that they're not opening on us, okay? I can't tell you how many times I've been holding a piece and next thing you know, a glass door flings open and it smashes into the ground and the glass is broken. Prevent that from happening, wrap it, protect it. All right, use blankets if it's necessary. Dollies and wheels. Now having two-man crews makes it to where you should be two-manning most everything. But dollies and wheels are there to make it easy. Is it a long hallway? Do you need the dolly? Do you need the wheels? Make sure that it's an easiest as possible and you're not carrying a giant sofa all the way through a long hallway. You wanna wheel it, make it as easy as possible. Is it an apartment complex? Long hallways? Do you have to lift? Can you use a dolly? Okay, there's just some scenarios where those are going to work better. Straps. Is it a sleeper sofa? Are we protecting the load, strapping to the wall from side to side? Okay, these are all things, contingencies, what ifs, anything that's gonna happen on the process of removal. Now, we put this into a system to where it's much more readable, and then we can print it off and we can be able to add this into our SOPs for the different things that we're doing. Taking payments at the end of the thing, okay, that's part of the end process. All right, at the end of each job, what if the customer's not there? Okay, we call and text. All right, we take all forms of payment. Is it that dispatch has to collect payment? How are we making that happen if they are not there? Okay, so thinking about all the different processes makes it easier for you to be able to predict the future and making it to where you're gonna have a simple and easy process for your guys. Tell me what you think. Did I miss anything? Is there anything that you have in your system that we didn't have in here? What are things to think about? Now, we got to remember, we're a furniture removal specialist, so this implies to all furniture. So this makes it easier for us to be able to take furniture, take anything that we're possibly taking, and make it a simple process for you and the customers.